Okay, so tonight's show is Cary Bayer. I'm pronouncing that right.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm so bad with names. And Cary Bayer, he's a life coach. He's a workshop leader, a keynote speaker, a writer. Is there any? Oh, comedy too. So, is there anything that you do not do?
Yes, I'm not an undertaker.
Okay, good. What's really
Although actually sometimes I like to take people under my wing and help them, really take off in their business. How's that for a response?
Yeah, that's a healthy way of saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how long have you been a life coach then?
Uh, Full time, it's been almost 9 years, and I was doing some part time for a number of years before that. But I really just think of it as 9 years. And actually, for most of those, I've been working with a lot of massage therapists. Almost all of those years, but the last 7 or 8 actually.
Okay. So, what intrigued you to be a life coach then? I mean, people hear about it every now and then, but I don't think people really know what it actually is, though.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
With the whole life coach thing, I mean, people hear about it, and even in movies, you hear about the whole life coach. But what does a life coach actually do?
Well, essentially, pretty much either focuses on a person's personal life or on their professional life.
Okay.
Now, when I work with massage therapists, it's typically focusing on the professional side, their careers, their businesses, but sometimes their personal life as well.
Okay.
No, and what happened? It's kind of a nice story actually. I was really led to working with massage therapists because I had a client who happened to be one in South Florida, and she had told me how much the work I was doing would have a really significant impact on massage therapists. So she suggested that I apply for continuing education status, provider status, both in the state of Florida and then eventually nationally, which I did. And so that started to attract a lot of massage therapists to my work because I started to teach at conventions and conferences and so forth. And I met up with you guys actually I met up with Mike in 2006 at in Atlanta where I gave the keynote address. So that opened me up to a lot of additional therapists in different parts of the country where I hadn't actually physically taught.
Okay. Do you think you relate really good with massage therapists then?
Do I relate to them? Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I think they're among the nicest people around. Actually, they're very giving people, and but unfortunately, they haven't been given enough information, which is really too bad. I think I don't have the exact statistics, but generally speaking, about probably no more than about 3 to 4% of the training that they receive in massage schools is devoted to business, and even less than that to marketing. So, in a sense, they're really kind of going out almost like lambs to slaughter. I mean, they have a gift for helping people once people are on their table, but unfortunately, they've been given very little information about how to get people to that table. So I find in them, a gentle and generous spirit who unfortunately are lacking in some really critical information that I happen to have a lot of background in. So it's really, I resonate with them because I think they're good souls, and I just think they need some information. And in my case, it's information. I also like to give tools for transformation. So it's not just giving them things to do, but also changing them from within as they do them.
Yes, definitely. Because myself, I've been teaching for 9 years for massage therapists. They wait a few years once they get out of school. I mean, work for somebody for a few years and then they lose all that. Where I think you come into play then. And
It saddens me really because I've seen some very talented people who've had to really stop what they're doing. Certainly stop full time and maybe just do it part-time and pick up some other part-time work to kind of pay the rent, or in some cases even worse, where they give up a full-time career, to take a full-time job, which gives them very little time or very little energy to to A, do massage, and B, market that work. So what happens is all these people who they could be coming in contact with are not being reached, which means more and more people walking around carrying a whole bunch of stress and a whole bunch of tension in their bodies.
Yeah. Your clients, would you say, are massage therapists?
You have a variety, but massage therapists occupy by far the largest percentage of my clientele. In fact, I've actually, over the last 7 or 8 years, I've coached more than 150 massage therapists on a one-on-one basis. So on any given day, I'm coaching some massage therapists. Pretty much, it's hard to find a day that goes by where I'm not.
Okay.
Actually, today was such a day, but now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's just hard.
Yeah. And you also do a lot of writing, it looks like, too. What kind of...
I've written a couple of full-length books. One is called Prosperity Aerobics, which is a sort of a kind of an inner workout for people to enhance their financial lives. And then I have another book called Relationships 101, which I think a name probably implies what that's about, really, kind of teaching us some of the skills we need in relationships that unfortunately weren't really taught the way they could have been when we were being trained to enter the world. But then I've also created for massage therapists 10 of what I call mini books. They're they average about 50 pages each, and then I also have a DVD for massage therapists. So I have actually 11 products for massage therapists. And those range from topics like marketing and gaining of clients, communication, advertising, money, mastering the business, and so forth.
What do you think your biggest success story was?
One of my favorites involved a woman in upstate New York who was, she was a single mom. She had, I think it was 4, I can't remember if it was 3 kids or 4. Fairly young. I mean, they were like about, I'm sort of guessing now because it was a number of years ago. I think they ranged from about 3 to about 10 or 9, and she had a part-time job. She worked about 25 hours a week in marketing and PR, and then she was doing massage sort of part-time, and so she hired me, to look at her life really and help her create some breakthroughs in it. And one of the first things, what's that?
Nope, keep going.
Okay, I was going to say one of the first things that we discovered was that she really wanted to do massage more and more. In fact, she really wanted to do it full time, but she was afraid because she had to support her kids, and so I taught her some of the techniques that I teach massage therapists, both what I like to call the internal and the external part. The internal part being how to begin to think bigger, how to expand the way you envision what's possible for you, really awakening what I call success consciousness, and then also showing her how to market more effectively, how to speak more effectively to get clients, how to advertise more effectively, and so forth. And what started to happen was she started to build the massage part of her income significantly, so much so that she was able to quit her 25-hour-a-week job, and so then so she had enough income to replace that, but now she also wanted it to grow. So we worked on growing the business, and we did, and then she got to a point where she started to feel some conflict because she said, I can barely take on any more clients without affecting my role as a mother because I've got a few kids to take care of. And so she was starting to feel that she had, really reached her limit and it was starting to, almost burn out. So, I introduced the idea, which at the time seemed really kind of like a breakthrough to her, which was, well, why don't you just have somebody work for you to handle, all future clients? And that was an idea that she never really had. So we worked on that, and essentially, she didn't want to work evenings, and she didn't really want to work weekends. So we worked on developing, attracting the therapist for her who could handle evening and weekend clients. And what she began to discover was that she was getting passive income. She was getting about 40% of the revenue of the massages that someone else was doing for her business, and while she was playing with her kids. So she was playing with her kids and yet getting 40% of the revenue, which was an idea that prior to this was just completely out of the realm of her thinking.
That's the American way, right?
Well, very few massage therapists, when I say very few, I would say as a percentage, very few massage therapists think that way. In fact, one of the things that I discover when I teach my classes at conventions, conferences, and so forth, is when I ask massage therapists, how would you like to grow how would you like to get a business how would you like to have a six-figure business, for example? And many of them, the response from many of them is that they'd actually be frightened by such an idea, because it would either, blow apart their bodies, or it would, break their hands. I remember one therapist said, she'd be afraid it would kill her, because their thought typically is the only way they can get that income is if they do all the massages. And let's face it, there are only so many hours a day, and there's only so much work your hands could actually do. So, so the idea of actually having somebody, help them and do some of the massages, for them, often just never enters their consciousness.
And it seems like such a simple thing, yeah, but the average person doesn't think about it. Even like subleasing a room or something, and...
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, when you say the average person, I would say that, yes, it is the American way. It clearly is. But I don't think massage therapists tend to think in that way, in the so-called American way. I think they tend to think of themselves as sole practitioners, and they only get paid when they work. And when they work, as a massage therapist, let's face it, it's a lot of hard work, and you are, for that hour, you are working very, very hard. The average working American, who works office, is paid for all that time that they're hanging around in someone else's office, shooting the breeze about, the NCAA game last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but not so for massage therapists, because most of them are only paid when they're working, and they're working hard.
Yeah, and that's what frustrates so many. That's why they get out of the field, it seems, too, that they're not getting paid, because they're coming from jobs that are usually paid hourly, and they're coming into a totally different realm, and they're not used to it, too. So
right. But of course, they're lured by the massage schools, tout how much money a massage therapist could make, because let's face it, depending on where you are in the country, you're making somewhere between $50 and $80 an hour for a massage.
Yep.
And that's a lot. That's good money for a lot of people, certainly, especially for certain people who may not have a lot of advanced education. So that's attractive. But of course, they don't really. Most massage schools really don't teach very much how to get those people to your table. I like to break it out and say that what a massage therapist does on her table is what I call her practice. She's practicing the modalities she's been taught. And then I say that everything else is her massage business, meaning how to get people to that table, how to get them to come back to that table more frequently, and so how to refer other people to that table, and so forth.
Yeah, because that's what I've noticed with massage therapists too is when they're done with the massage, even they forget to ask the person to book another appointment, because it's just lost revenue right then and there if they don't, because the client is feeling so good right after the massage.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
In fact, I have this little program where I teach massage therapists 2 questions to ask at that point. because there's no greater moment that a massage client, and I know because I am one, I get massages. I'm a great client, actually. I get massaged about 3 times a month, sometimes 4. Actually, there have been times where I've gotten massaged 3 times in a week, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's no greater time that a massage client wants to get back on that table than as soon as that session is over, because, you know, however you say it as a massage therapist, at some point, you know, after that hour or however long the session is, you're going to say something along the lines of, you know, take your time, I'll be outside, et cetera, et cetera. And the client knows at that point, you know, shucks, it's over. And that is such a sad moment, because as a client, you want this thing to go on forever.
Yep.
You know? I mean, it's such a beautiful experience. And yet, so what happens is, so now, you know, I speak and I write for a livelihood, and yet when I get massaged, I'm rendered into silence. So I know, you know, from my own experience, just how powerful this stuff is. And so that moment needs to be seized by massage therapists. In fact, can I share with you what I teach them?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll tell you what, I'll be the massage therapist here. We'll, like, role play this, okay? I'll be the massage therapist.
Okay.
You know, I always tell therapists, you know, when I teach this in the CEU, venue, that they should also get one CE for improvisational acting, but I've been able to convince the NCBTMD of that. But, yeah. Anyway, so I'll be the therapist and you be the client, okay, Ryan?
Okay.
All right, so the massage is now over, and I'm going to be greeting you outside the room, and I'm going to have my appointment book in my hand and a pen in the other hand. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So how do you feel, Ryan?
Oh, I'm relaxed.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Would you like to feel relaxed like this next week as well?
Why, yes. I can't even remember the last time I felt like this.
Great. So, is next Wednesday a good time for you?
Let's say, what do you have Thursday?
Thursday, and then we go book. You know, Thursday, 11 o'clock. Is that good?
Yeah.
And so we book it. And now, after having done that, I'll give you some water, you know, and then at that point, get into whatever you need to get into with regard to, you know, what came up during the massage. Like if you came in there with some shoulder problems, you know, I might ask you how your shoulder's doing and so forth. But that's going to be a very left brain conversation. Because now I'm asking you to analyze how your shoulder was before and now how it is now, for example. And so you've just gotten off the table from a very right brain, very heart-centered, very body-centered, perhaps silent experience for the last hour. And now I'm asking you to talk and I'm asking you to analyze, which is very much left-brained. That's why we make that transition between the right brain experience of massage and those 2 quick questions. You know, how do you feel? Relaxed? Great. Would you like to feel relaxed like this next week as well? Get that handled, and now we move into the left brain part.
And I just wanted to point out that was a really nice way of putting it, because it didn't even feel like sales, even though massage is kind of sales in a way, but it didn't even feel like it at all. There's no pressure, no nothing. Just like you just walked right into it. So yeah, you hooked me already.
Well, thank you. You know, I do get complaints from some massage therapists that's manipulative, and I'm just putting it out there just because there are going to be people who you know, listen to this and may feel that way. So I want to address that because I think it's important that massage therapists realize that what their job is not just to relieve people of their stresses and tensions and so forth and pain when they're on their table, but I believe part of their job is to help people get to that table so that they carry as little of that stress around with them as possible. I really think that a massage therapist is almost like a lighthouse. You know, there's a lot of darkness, especially in this world, you know, this economy and all the crazy stuff going on. a lot of people really suffering, a lot of people in a lot of fear and so forth. I think a massage therapist is like a lighthouse or an oasis, really there, kind of an anchor to help people, get into this kind of peace, really, that occurs for that hour.
Yeah.
So I really think that it's part of their job to help people get to that table again. And I think those two questions, very gently, as you say, very gently, without a sense of salesmanship or arm twisting or anything like that, helps a person get to where they want to get to, which is to be back on that table as soon as possible.
Yes, definitely. Because, it's not going to work for everybody, but it didn't feel like sales at all. You just kind of walked right into it, and the person's kind of in a daze that time too, because it's not taking advantage of them. It's just making them relive this whole experience again, if you want to put it that way. But it's not going to work for all therapists, so that's a problem. So that's
when you say it won't work for them, you mean because they won't adapt it, or they won't adopt it, or because they won't be effective at using it, or what?
I don't think some people might not feel comfortable saying it. There's still, students that I've had, I drill in their head all the time. They have to ask them to book another appointment, and they just don't feel comfortable. And sometimes
You're right.
and sometimes they think they never connected with the client, but those are the type of people more likely you did connect. So I just tell them to be open as much as possible, because even if you think you gave the worst massage ever, it might be the best massage for them. And especially if it's a first-time client, they're hooked for life.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. One of the things I would say to a massage therapist, if they think that they're being manipulative or they think it's uncomfortable, to try to suggest to their client that they, come back next week. By the way, you're not suggesting, you're asking a question.
Yeah.
And that's what's so beautiful about it, is you're not telling them what to do. People are told what to do all day long. If they have a job, they have a boss who tells them what to do.
Or if you're married.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
Or if they're in the service business, they have clients who tell them what to do all day long. If they're married, they're going to get it. So, my God, or if they have parents who are telling them what to do. So, people don't need anyone else to tell them what to do, least of all a massage therapist. But if the massage therapist can give them this experience of peace, which they do regularly, and they simply ask them if they would like to have that again. You said relax. Sometimes people say, I feel fabulous.
Yeah.
And then then the next question is, great, would you like to feel fabulous like this next week as well? Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to feel fabulous? Unless you're dealing with the American Masochistic Society, everybody wants to feel fabulous.
Yeah. And I remember telling my clients, whenever they feel stressed out throughout the day, just try to remember when you had that massage, what it actually felt like, so that can remind them to book another appointment too. And
exactly. But you see, the reason I'm recommending they ask the question right away is it doesn't have to be a memory anymore. It's an immediate experience. It's just immediately, how do you feel? I feel fabulous. Great. Would you like to feel fabulous like this next week as well? It's so simple. It's so simple, but really profound. And it can make a difference. And if they say no, then the follow-up question, Ryan, is very simple. How would you like to feel fabulous then in 2 weeks?
There you go. Yep. Yep.
Keep staying with them, Because let's face it, here's the question. If you asked massage therapists to poll their clients, that means people who get massaged, and you ask them, here we are, we're just ending the month of March. If you ask people who are, people who get massaged, what were the 10 experiences you had in the month of March that made you feel great?
Oh, I see where this, I see.
I think massage would be on every single list.
Yes, definitely.
Okay? Now, you could narrow it down from 10 down to 5, and I bet you massage would, it probably wouldn't be on every list, but I bet it would still be on a majority of lists.
Yep.
In fact, you can boil it down to 3. You could even boil it down to 1. What was the one thing that you did this month that made you feel the very best? And I bet you there are a number of people who would say massage. which means, Ryan, that getting massaged is among the most important and significant experiences in a person's life.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, they always remember it. And especially your first massage. You just never forget that. So that's the time to definitely rope that client in and stuff. And
so if that's the case, if getting massage is among the most significant or peace-giving or relaxation experiences of your month, or perhaps the most, what's manipulative about helping a person have that experience sooner than later?
Yep.
In fact, I think it's almost selfish to ask them to wait. Why not give them the chance to have it sooner than later? And always let them choose. All I'm teaching the massage therapist to do is to simply ask some questions.
Yeah. And I know this one therapist, what he'll do is after the massage, he'll say, well, you really need to book another appointment, otherwise you're going to get worse in the next week. I mean, it's just like a car salesman. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's so unnecessary. You don't need fear. My God, there's too much fear already out there.
Yeah.
Why do that? It's like watching a television commercial, you know? You don't use this deodorant, no one will sit next to you. I mean, God, who needs that?
Yep.
You know? I mean, it's like a massage therapist is like twisting the client's arm. The massage therapist's job is to undo whatever pain has resulted from other people twisting their arm.
Yep.
You know? So I think that's just really misguided thinking based on, someone who has clearly not learned the art of communication.
And what do you do? This is what I run into problems with my students, is sometimes their personality level isn't there. It's hard for them to interact with a client. Mm-hmm. Have you run into therapists that have those kind of problems?
Yeah, I do. I think you're right. And I think that's one of the reasons they use touch instead of speech, because they're confident in their touch, but not in their speech. So I say to them, that's okay, you don't need to use a lot of words. Like in this case, what I've just taught you guys now is just very few words to help people get back to the table as soon as possible. But you can also use just a few words to get people to your table who've never been there before. In other words, getting a new client can sometimes be done in really a small amount of words. But you have to be confident as a massage therapist in recognizing, forget about how well you speak, that's meaningless. What's important is a really strong realization that everybody wants what you offer. Virtually everybody wants what you offer. I say virtually because, 12-year-olds playing, Little League Baseball are probably not thinking about their myofascial release,
Yep.
It's not like the big thing in their minds. So, however, fast forward another 15 years, and that person who's now 27 is working, at some job and is probably commuting and is getting stressed out and, what have you, by the economy, by maybe marriage, by so many different things. And that person now is carrying tension and pain in their body. They now want what you offer. So if you're a massage therapist and you meet somebody at a party and you they ask you what you do and you tell them you're a massage therapist, they're going to practically show you physically what's wrong with them, right? Have you seen that?
Yeah, too many times, yeah.
Yeah. A person will literally point to the part of their body that is that messed up, saying, "Can you help me?" And so, all the massage therapist really needs to do is say, is that where the pain is? And, the person's going to say, yeah, definitely. And then the massage therapist needs to say something along the lines of, would you like to see what it's like to no longer have that pain in your body?
Yeah. Or with my mom, whenever I'm at a family reunion, she always brags that I'm a massage therapist, so I ended up giving everybody massages then. So.
Yes, good. Yeah, moms are always very good PR spokesmen,
Yep.
But you see, even without a mom there, if a massage therapist asks someone at a party who they just met, would you like to see what it's like not to have that pain in your shoulder? That person's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Again, who wants to carry pain in their shoulder? Right?
Yeah.
So he says yes, and then the massage therapist says, well, my office is a couple of miles from here, and my rate is, whatever it is, $65 an hour, whatever it is. Would you like to set up a session to start relieving that pain in your shoulder?
Yep.
And again, they may say no, of course, but there's a decent chance they'll say yes. And in just a few words, without having to be personable or, charming or witty or anything like that, the person who may even be shy could get a new client.
Yeah, because I've had some students in the past, it's hard for them to even say hi to clients. How do you deal with them?
Well, once again, what's important is not so much a confidence in their own personality, but a confidence in their ability to help virtually anyone be free of pain in their body. You see?
Yep.
If you have that confidence, so that's really now, maybe someone say at a party.
Yeah.
So it's not about their personality. It's not, it's not like, oh, you have to have a winning personality to get a client. It's very simple. That person has pain in their body. You have the ability to relieve that pain in the body. All you have to do is simply ask a couple of questions to see if they'd like to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's not really about, it's not even about self-confidence. You don't need self-confidence. It helps,
yep.
But it's not necessary.
Because I remember when I had my business, after a couple of years, it seemed like I had more clients that are more my personality, so it eventually weeds out some of them. So most of them were like loud and obnoxious like me. So.
Well, you're a lively guy. You laugh a lot. You have fun.
Yep.
So you're going to attract a lot more clients than the person who is, shy, insecure, and so forth. But once again, as I said, it's not about focusing on your own self-confidence. In this case, it's simply focusing on the confidence in your ability to help anyone.
That's a good way of looking.
Simply ask. Again, it always comes down to not saying, "Hey, you should call me up and I'll I'll take care of you." No. Again, nobody needs to be lectured to. Simply ask the question: would you like to see what it's like to live without that pain in your shoulder?
Yep, definitely.
See, that's the beauty of the massage therapist's work, is that, how many people who who in an hour can make whoever they work with feel really good?
Unless there's a raise involved, not many.
Come on, right?
Yep.
Very few people have that, but yet you as a massage therapist, you see it day after day, hour after hour. That's why I say, first thing to ask, how do you feel?
Yep.
Because the answer is going to be a positive one.
Yep. And you said you just recently started really getting into Facebook. How do you think you're going to tie Facebook into all this? You think, or?
Yeah, it's like I just set up a page, a fan page for massage therapists. I set it about 2 weeks ago. I got about 150 fans now. I haven't really marketed it that actively. I certainly could do more than I've already done. But at that start, I see the numbers growing on almost a daily basis. So I go on a few times a week, and I'll provide a little snippet of coaching or a different way of looking at their business, and that I find that generating dialogue, and then so I'll dialogue with the people who respond, and I can see that I haven't actually gotten a new client from it yet, but I can see a number of people have expressed interest in, if their financial situation was a little stronger, in doing that. So I can see it as a very valid tool to reach people in a kind of gentle and easy way.
Okay, cool. And have you got into Twitter yet or anything?
Yeah, I've been tweeting for a while, but to be honest with you, I'm really that 140 character thing I find a little bit, a little bit artificial, and the whole thing about abbreviating half the words you're using. I'm an English major and a writer by background. I find a little uncomfortable, So I haven't really been using Twitter as actively, anywhere near as actively as Facebook. But I am working with a search engine optimization marketing specialist, and we started with Facebook, but I'll see what he thinks about Twitter and what his recommendations are with regard to Twitter.
Yeah.
But I think massage therapists, could take advantage of it, no question about it. I mean, a lot of them are encouraging other people to be fans of other sites, and I say to them, hey, why don't you encourage people to be a fan of your site?
Yeah.
I think it's lovely that you want to be, make people fans of somebody else, but my God, wouldn't it be nice to have fans of your own?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And then on your website it says sign up for a free half-an-hour coaching session. What does that entail?
Yeah, that's right. I as a give back to anyone who anyone who comes to my site, which is CaryBayer.com. That's CaryBayer.com. Anyone who goes there, who signs up to receive my monthly newsletter, it's a free email newsletter. I give back by giving them a free half-hour coaching session.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much you can do in a half an hour. I know again the massage model is usually an hour, and the coaching model is often an hour as well. But I do a lot of half hours, and it's amazing how much can be accomplished in a half hour, even for a first-time session.
Yep. Do you ever get so much success in that half an hour you never see him again, or?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I worked with this guy recently who owns a catering business, and I really got him to think in a much bigger way than he was thinking, and it solved so many problems for him that he said, "Wow, that's great, man. That's terrific. I don't need any more." That's okay, I was happy to help, because, and I give away 3 coaching sessions in every newsletter also. I just think it's important to give back. I think, and massage therapists do too. I think it's great that they give back too. Charity events and so forth. I recently posted. In fact, I think I posted in your group.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Because you hear about these massage therapists who are donating free massages at golf tournaments, like PGA tournaments. PGA tournaments are attracting millionaires. Everyone who plays at that level is probably already making $1 million or more, or thereabouts.
Uh-huh.
And these people don't need free massages.
Yep.
The guy makes $5 million in tournaments, and whatever he makes in endorsements. I think you can spend $75 for massage. Yep. Why is he getting a free massage? Why are massage therapists giving free massages to guys with 7-figure incomes who come through their area once a year? I just don't get it.
And I think some people just get so desperate, so they're just willing to lowball their services or give things away for free so much.
Well, I think it's nice to give back to people who can use it, who are in need. But I think it's ridiculous, really, truly ridiculous, to give that service away to someone who makes more money probably in that tournament, even for finishing like middle of the pack, or maybe even at the bottom, than most of those massage therapists will make the entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it.
And where do you see yourself 5 years from now, would you say? Do you really enjoy the life coaching thing? You want to continue with that more and build up that business even more?
Yeah, I love to do it. It's really, it's very gratifying to watch somebody go from very small thinking to much larger thinking, and to go from struggling to pay the rent to figuring out how they're going to get, therapists 3 and 4 into, as busy as therapists 1 and 2. It's just a great feeling to watch people succeed. And so I really enjoy that. One of the things I'll be doing more of in the next 5 years is training others to become coaches. In fact, I think that massage therapists have the potential to be good coaches. I say potential because they're good. They already have good skills in listening. They have good skills in nonverbal communication, and they have good skills in caring about people. They have genuine care for people, and they like to give to people. So those are really all very valuable prerequisites to being a good coach. So I wouldn't be surprised if I started to train some of the people who are massage therapists who are coaching clients of mine to actually become coaches themselves and add that to what they do on their table.
Yeah, it would definitely go hand in hand too. That's the nice thing about, you're helping people on the table, the aches and pains, and you're helping people to financialize, and yeah, jack of all trades basically. So
well, if you think about let's use the word pain as a common denominator. There's pain in the body, but there's also pain in the head and pain in the heart. And the massage therapist is working with the pain in the body, and a life coach is working to help shift that pain in the mind and pain in the heart.
Yep.
My name is Bayer, so I'm always used to working with pain in the head.
So you're talking about the baby aspirin then, right? So you do comedy stuff too then, I see.
I have, yeah. I used to write for the National Lampoon years back.
Oh,
seems like a lifetime ago. In fact, the magazine isn't even around anymore.
Okay.
But people know about it from the movies. It depends on how old someone is. But I used to write in the 80s for the National Lampoon. So yeah, so I've had a lot of background with writing humor and comedy. Sure.
And are most of your clients, would you say, are over the phone, or do you some in person then, or do you do anything with video chats, or?
Most of it is over the telephone, actually. About 85% is over the telephone.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've sort of begrudgingly moving into the 21st century a little bit more with, when you say video chats, you're talking about like webcams?
Yep.
Yeah, I really do need to get into that, and it's something that I'll be getting into in the near future.
Because even with this blog TV thing, you can even set it for private, so nobody else, just that person that you're dealing with, you can set it up that way too.
As long as they have a webcam, obviously.
Yep, as long as they have a webcam, yep.
Sure. Yeah, and I suspect that in the next couple of years, that's probably how all of my phone sessions will occur, unless I'm on the road, in which case that may not always be possible.
And do you ever do any group things too, like webinars or anything, or?
I have, yeah. I've also done group coaching. In fact, I've also done group coaching for massage therapists, where I'll get 6 people on a call and split the hour, 5 or 6 ways. And because they're all massage therapists, they all kind of profit by the coaching that the previous person hears, because invariably the issues are very similar from therapist to therapist. So that's something that a lot of LMTs have taken advantage of, who are not who feel they don't have the finances to do individual coaching. So the group coaching is a lot more affordable for a lot of therapists.
Well, that's a nice way to look at it, definitely. Yeah, because people could definitely go in with many other therapists and stuff and help everybody out that way. And
yeah, it's like the difference between hiring a car service to go to the airport versus one of those shuttle things that pick up 5 or 6 people, and you have to it takes a little longer to get to the airport, but it costs you a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. And What do you think the hardest thing with life coaching then?
The hardest thing with life coaching?
Yeah.
Well, it's a funny thing because on the one hand, people really, I mean, if you ask someone, again, this is where my work parallels your work. Because earlier I said, to a massage therapist, ask someone if they would like to be free of that pain in their shoulder, and of course the answer is yes. So if I ask someone at a party, would you like to have breakthroughs in your life? Most people say yes. However, so there's like a higher self that everyone has that wants this. But then the challenge in coaching is what happens when lower self gets involved. Because their lower self will sometimes try to invalidate it or try to stop it. So there's sometimes a little dance that you have to do to help shift a person from their lower self to their higher self.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, and I think people find that in their own lives. Like let's suppose, usually around January 1st, you hear a lot of higher self people, talking, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds this year, and I want to look really good. I want to bulk up. I want to get really strong and toned and so forth. And then, on January 4th is like this really cool party, and there's all these like fabulous tarts and, fried this's and fried that's. And, all of a sudden they forgot all about that 20 pounds, So, so you have that kind of conflict that people go through. And and as a life coach, there's that to deal with.
Yeah. Do you plan on writing any more books and stuff too then?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, yeah. I think it's I'm working on one now, which is being designed as we speak. It's called 40 Days to a Happy Life. It's going to be about 150, 160 pages or so, and it's literally a day by day, 40 days of cool things to do for those 40 days to create shifts in your ability to find happiness in what you do, whatever that is, and a combination of really cool things to do that tend to make people happier. Yeah. So that's I'm working on that, and then I'm going to be converting some of my mini books on communication into a book. So there's a lot of projects that I'll be working on.
Do you get into like yoga people or people in alternative medicine, acupuncturists, those different areas too?
Yeah, to some extent I do. I write for a hypnosis publication, which is read by hypnotherapists and alternative healers of different stripes. And I also teach a workshop for alternative healers called Healer Heal Thyself, and it combines consciousness and marketing strategies to help shift them. So as a result, I wind up coaching yoga teachers and therapists and clergymen and chiropractors and that. But by and large, it's still the largest population is the massage therapist. And I think the reason for that is that it's I've got the certification for CE provider status in that profession. I have not done that in the others. It's got to, as you know, it's a lot of work to do to fill those things out.
Yep.
And then market them and so forth. So I really haven't kind of gone after, if you will, the yoga teachers and so forth.
Okay.
In any sort of comprehensive way.
But there's definitely a possibility out there for that area too. So it's like endless.
It is endless, yeah. And I like working with those people because they're good souls, they're good spirits, and they really want a higher quality of life, and they care about people. So they're nice people to work with. It's much nicer working with them than working with Wall Street takeover guys.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of depressing in a way. What he does is he just goes to businesses to fire people, and
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. So that's what's nice about working with massage therapists and alternative healers is that, they add quality to people's lives like right away. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And so those people, they're good-hearted people, but they often lack, business and marketing savvy. So it's really good. For 18 years, I ran my own marketing and PR company. So I have a lot of experience with how to communicate so that people can have more success in their businesses. So I've taken advantage of all those 18 years of work to, give that as layered knowledge for massage therapists.
Yeah, you're pretty busy all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, the truth is that I actually work 6 days a week because I love what I do. I really truly do, and although I really cherish the day off, I really do. It's wonderful, but if I took 2 days off, like most people do, I feel I would be letting other people down. I really feel that, when you really feel a calling in life, I think it's important to keep showing up for people.
And my dad always told me that if you love your job more than 50% of the time, it's almost like you're not working at all. So
it's true. There's a great quote from Thomas Edison where this is a paraphrase, but he said something like, he loved working in the lab so much that he never really worked a day in his life there. It was all fun, and that's the ideal. That's the ideal career.
Yep. And especially with massage therapists, in general, they love what they're doing. It's just sometimes they just aren't making the money they want, or they injure themselves. Those are the two biggest problems, it seems.
I know, and that's why they're such great givers. They need to learn how to receive, and I teach them a technique to help them learn how to break down resistance to receiving appreciation, and thereby receiving as an extension, receiving more money, more clients, and more money.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seems the turnover rate is really horrible for massage therapists in general, and
well, part of it is that the market keeps getting flooded by a new wave of therapists, the new graduates, and once again, most massage therapists are thinking of modalities. What new modality can they learn? That's great. It's always great to have new techniques. But once again, the real modality they need to be thinking about is how to bring people to your table. And that's really about marketing.
How to bring them back.
Yeah. Well, once again, I really think the two questions that I shared with you earlier will help bring them back more quickly.
Yep.
I can't believe how many massage therapists simply do not book the next massage before the client leaves their office, and that is just absurd.
And for my students, in their first quarter, I make them go out in the public and get a massage, and that's one of the questions they got to see if the person asks, and the majority of the times the therapist doesn't even ask them that question.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like salespeople who never ask for the sale.
Yeah. Yeah,
but salespeople should know better. Massage therapists don't know better because they weren't taught, but that's why I'm teaching them this.
Yep, exactly. Any other words of advice that you really think would hit home with massage therapists?
Yeah, I would say recognize that virtually every adult you see wants what you offer. I said that earlier tonight, but I want to repeat it because it can't be overemphasized. Because the truth is, most massage therapists are trying to think, how can I get a client? And it's the wrong way of thinking. Once they realize that virtually everyone they see wants what they offer, it shifts the way they think and speak.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it, that everybody's a prospective client. You just always be on your best behavior, of course, too, and just always have your business cards available, too. And do you ever teach people to do like a 30-second elevator speech at all, or do you believe in that?
By all means. But once again, I think you'll get more value out of 30 seconds worth of questions than 30 seconds worth of speeches.
Okay.
Because once again, everybody's lectured to. and everybody's being sold, but not everybody's being asked questions that really pertain to their lives. So that when when you say, yeah, I'm a massage therapist, and my work is about helping people be free of pain and to have as great well-being as possible, that usually provokes some response. If it doesn't, then simply ask a question. Do you carry pain in your body?
Yeah. Yeah, because open-ended questions, I mean, it's better than the yes/no questions, too. It's just keep them going as much as possible.
Well, actually, I would say that when you can ask questions that bring about a yes, you're going to actually get closer to something that satisfies both of you. It will satisfy the person you're speaking to, because that person is going to discover that he's carrying pain and he would like to get rid of his pain, and that you have the ability to do that. So he satisfies that desire, and you satisfy, if you're a massage therapist, the desire of getting new clients.
Yep.
So I actually suggest to my clients that they master the art of 30 seconds worth of questions rather than 30 seconds worth of speeches. As good as the elevator speech idea is, I mean, I know it's good. I'm not suggesting it isn't, but I'm suggesting you'll go even further, essentially by giving people the opportunity to hire you without even having to ask for it.
Okay, so kind of turn the tables on them basically a little bit, and
exactly,
yeah.
because once you have the confidence that he already wants what you offer, why don't you just give him the opportunity to ask for it?
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to twist his arm.
Yep.
He's had too many people try twisting it already that day.
Yep. What about if somebody's in like the grocery line, and how do you mention this kind of stuff? Do you do like a cold call kind of person? You just ask them these kind of questions, or you kind of look for an in?
Are you talking about someone who actually has asked you something about yourself?
No, you just think that they might, or let's say they're rubbing their neck or something, or.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't just, professionally hit on everyone you see.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't suggest that. But if you're online at a grocery store, let's say, supermarket, and you see someone who is rubbing their neck and it looks like they're in pain, you could say, I'm a massage therapist. Are you experiencing some pain there in your neck?
Okay. So
and they're going to say, yeah. And, then you can follow it with, have you ever thought about what it might be like not to have that pain in your neck?
So keep asking them questions, basically. So.
Yeah. Socrates went far doing that.
Yeah.
Of course they also killed him, but that's a different matter. But the point is that, once again, if you have that awareness that just about everybody wants what you offer, you just gently move the conversation into giving them the chance to have what they want, which is relief from pain, which you can give them.
And I don't know if you know this personally, but massage therapists in general, they seem a little bit jealous of their clients, really protective in a way. Have you noticed that at all, or?
You mean jealous of sharing their clients with others?
Yeah.
Or jealous?
Yeah.
Oh, protective. I mean, fearful that they lose their clients.
Yeah.
To other therapists?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that. And again, that comes from that same idea, again, of not feeling confident in what they do. But I mean, there's no reason that you should be sharing your clients with someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, because they'll let them decide who they want. Basically, that's my belief. But I know.
If I was you have that relationship. I mean, it's a beautiful relationship. I don't think. I think it's a special relationship, and it doesn't need to be, broken.
Yep. Okay.
Fantastic. And thanks for the opportunity. It was great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cary. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
guys.